Imagine walking into a room where everyone's eyes turn toward you. Some people freeze, some shrink into the background. But the one who walks with calm composure, steady breath, and unshaken presence instantly commands respect. This is not arrogance, nor is it the shallow confidence built on compliments, status, or wealth. It is the kind of confidence forged deep within, one that cannot be taken away no matter what others think or say. The Stoics understood this truth long before the modern world started selling quick fixes for self-esteem. They believed real confidence comes not from external validation, but from mastering the inner world, your thoughts, your judgments, your choices. The man who has command over himself cannot be broken by insults, failures, or rejection, because his foundation rests on reason and virtue, not the shifting sands of opinion. The first truth the Stoics taught is that confidence is not about how the world sees you. It is about how you see yourself. Epictetus reminded us that people can control your body, your possessions, even your reputation, but they cannot touch your inner judgments unless you hand them the keys. If you wake each morning knowing you are living in line with your values, you walk with a quiet power that no crowd can shake. Confidence born from self-respect is sturdier than confidence borrowed from applause. When Marcus Aurelius wrote that the opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know the truth, he was showing us that the strongest man is the one who stands firm in what he knows to be right, regardless of whether the world applauds or laughs. The second truth is that fear of failure destroys confidence, while embracing failure builds it. The Stoics practiced what they called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would imagine setbacks, insults, loss, and pain before they happened. So when reality struck, they were already prepared. This practice doesn't make you pessimistic. It makes you fearless. When you accept failure as a teacher instead of an enemy, you gain an edge over the man who constantly doubts himself. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," meaning that most of our insecurity is nothing but shadows of what might happen. True confidence grows when you stop trembling before possibilities and learn to face reality head-on. There comes a moment in life when you realize that confidence cannot be bought, borrowed, or faked. No matter how many books you read or how many motivational videos you watch, if your inner dialogue is poisoned with doubt, your presence will betray you. The Stoics understood this and taught that the battle for unshakable confidence is fought entirely within. They knew that the world is unpredictable, that people will insult, criticize, and betray, but they also knew that no external force can make you feel small, unless you give it permission. This is why their wisdom cuts through time and lands directly in our modern struggles. If you build your self-worth on approval, you are fragile. But if you build it on principle, you become unbreakable. The fourth truth is that self-control is the foundation of all confidence. A man who cannot control his impulses, his tongue, or his emotions is forever at the mercy of circumstances. Seneca reminded us that anger, lust, and greed make slaves of men who think they are free. Imagine trying to appear confident while your emotions drag you in every direction. People can sense instability, but the man who governs himself radiates authority without speaking a word. When you enter a room calm and collected, when your emotions do not betray you under pressure, you project a strength that others feel but cannot explain. True confidence is not loud. It is the silent power of a man who owns himself. The fifth truth is that adversity is the training ground for confidence. Stoics did not run from hardship. They welcomed it as a teacher. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Instead of being crushed by obstacles, they use them to sharpen their spirit. Think about it. Who is more confident, the man who has faced storms and survived, or the man who has lived only in comfort? Every challenge you overcome adds another layer to your armor. The more you embrace discomfort, the more unshakable you become in situations that break others. If you shy away from struggle, your confidence remains paper thin. But if you see every setback as training, you carry yourself with the quiet certainty of someone who knows he can endure. The sixth truth is that opinions are nothing but noise. Most people lose their confidence not because of failure, but because of criticism. They twist their lives into shapes designed to avoid judgment. But the Stoics knew that every man is entitled to his own perspective. And that perspective has no power unless you allow it to enter your soul. Epictetus taught that when someone insults you, they are only describing their own perception, not your reality. If you do not agree with their judgment, why should it sting? The day you stop living for applause or shrinking from criticism, you free yourself. Confidence becomes natural when your compass is your own reason rather than the shifting voices of the crowd. The seventh truth is simplicity. We imagine confidence as something grand, but in reality it is often found in simplicity. Simple habits, simple speech, simple living. The Stoics stripped away excess, knowing that dependence on luxury makes you weak. If you need applause, wealth, or validation to feel worthy, your confidence will collapse the moment those things are removed. But if you train yourself to need little, you become fearless. A man who can dine on bread and water, with the same contentment as a feast is a man the world cannot intimidate. Simplicity breeds strength, because it reminds you that your worth is not tied to possessions but to character. The eighth truth is that death is the ultimate teacher of confidence. This may sound grim, but the Stoics believed that remembering death liberates you from fear. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that he, like everyone else, would soon turn to dust. Instead of making him despair, this awareness made him stronger, calmer, more decisive. Why fear judgment when the crowd that mocks you will soon perish? Why tremble before challenges when life itself is temporary? When you embrace the truth of mortality, trivial fears lose their grip, and your confidence takes root in something eternal. Confidence, then, is not a mask to wear, but a way of being. It grows each time you govern yourself instead of being ruled by emotions. It strengthens every time you face difficulty and rise instead of retreat. It deepens each time you let the opinions of others pass through you, without disturbing your inner calm, and it becomes unshakable. When you remember that time is short and nothing truly matters except living with virtue. The Stoics did not write for men who wanted to look strong. They wrote for men who wanted to be strong. To them, confidence was not a performance but a practice. Each day you live with discipline, courage, and integrity. You add bricks to a foundation that no storm can move. And when others look at you and wonder why you walk so steadily, you will know the secret. Your strength does not come from them, it comes from within. There is a kind of confidence that vanishes when the lights turn off and the applause fades, and there is another kind that only grows stronger in silence. The Stoics were not concerned with charm, showmanship, or image. Their concern was with the kind of strength that remains when everything external is stripped away. That is why their truths endure while modern quick fixes fall apart. To build unshakable confidence, you must dig beneath the surface and anchor yourself in timeless principles. These principles do not shout, they whisper. They do not decorate you, they transform you. And when you embody them, you become the kind of person who moves through life steady, unafraid, and untouchable. The ninth truth is that confidence thrives in presence. Most insecurity comes from living in the past or the future, rehashing old mistakes or fearing what is yet to come. But Marcus Aurelius insisted that a man should confine himself to the present moment, for it is the only one truly in his possession. When you focus on the task before you, instead of the shadows of regret or the fog of worry, you perform with clarity and strength. Confidence is nothing more than the ability to be fully present without being scattered by ghosts of time. When you are rooted in the present, you walk into every situation as if it were the only one that mattered, and people feel your centeredness. The 10th truth is that confidence must be practiced daily like a discipline. The Stoics did not believe in waiting for inspiration. They trained themselves through repetition. Epictetus told his students not to talk endlessly about philosophy, but to live it in each decision, each reaction, each test. The same applies to confidence. You cannot expect to suddenly become unshakable in a crisis if you spend ordinary days giving in to fear, comparison, or doubt. Confidence is forged through small acts, speaking the truth when it is easier to stay silent, holding your ground in the face of mockery, choosing calm over rage when provoked. Every small victory trains your soul until confidence becomes your natural posture, not a performance you put on when convenient. Another deep truth the Stoics lived by is that confidence comes not from knowing everything, but from knowing that you can endure anything. This is why their wisdom still feels so alive. Life is full of uncertainties, careers collapse, friends betray, fortunes vanish. If your confidence rests on what you own or control, you will always fear its loss. But if your confidence rests on your ability to endure, nothing can shake it. A man who knows he can survive hunger, insults, failure, and even death is a man who cannot be enslaved by fear. Seneca said. He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a living man. To the Stoics, real confidence was not about predicting success, but about standing firm, no matter the outcome. This kind of strength reshapes how you move through the world. You stop needing validation, so you are free to act with integrity. You stop fearing discomfort, so you become daring where others hesitate. You stop clinging to illusions of control, so you meet uncertainty with calm. Slowly, confidence becomes less about how others perceive you and more about how firmly you walk your own path. The Stoics remind us that the man who does not depend on others to feel worthy is the freest man alive. It is important to see that unshakable confidence does not mean you never feel fear, doubt, or hesitation. Even the greatest Stoics admitted to moments of weakness. What made them different was their refusal to be ruled by those feelings. Confidence is not the absence of nerves. It is the choice to act with reason despite them. Marcus Aurelius admitted he often woke up reluctant to face the day, but he reminded himself of his duty as a man and emperor. By choosing discipline over comfort, he proved that confidence is a practice of will, not a gift of temperament. When you absorb these truths into your life, you begin to carry yourself differently. You are no longer restless in conversations, for you do not chase approval. You are no longer rattled by setbacks, for you have trained yourself to endure. You are no longer afraid of tomorrow, for you have learned to root yourself in today. People sense this and they call it confidence. But you will know it is something greater, freedom. The world will always try to shake you, but it cannot move what is firmly planted. Confidence built on Stoic truth is not a mask to impress the crowd. It is a fortress built within the soul. And when storms come, when critics rise, when life presses hard against you, you will not need to prove your strength. You will simply remain standing, calm, unshaken, and free.